Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Well, hello, sports fans. Welcome to the Sports Show. This is Ty House, along with the big homie
Alex Squires. How you doing, Ty?
I'm feeling amazing. We're getting closer and closer to that day.
You can taste it.
Oh my God!
It's on the tip of my tongue.
We got just to see it last Sunday.
Yeah,
the Giants
just
and the
just
Bills
a little
in the
bit.
Hall of Fame. For those who don't know what we're salivating over, it's the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the National Football League, but we have the NCAA AA coming back.
Absolutely.
Oh, heaven must be like this.
We got the playoff this year, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Finally.
Something
You
good.
know, I mean, I always thought that the BCS got a bad rep, but I always thought it did a pretty good job, more or less.
I think the BCS is what it was called.
Yeah.
Was ran by the SEC.
pretty much, man. It's what it seemed like, at least.
I think they were, the mafia behind that or something.
Hey, every good entity needs a mafia behind it.
Oh, that's horrible. That is just horrible. Today, on today's show, we're going to talk AFC South
Yep.
and NFC South.
Yep.
Both of these divisions got a top tier and a lower tier.
Seems so.
So, let's start off in the AFC.
Yeah.
We got the AFC South consists of the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, and who else?
Who'd you say?
Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis.
Tennessee.
Those Tennessee Titans.
That's right. Houston Oilers.
A very
as you like to
forgettable
call them.
team.
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
They are.
Let's start at the bottom. Last year they had the number one pick in the draft, the Houston Texans. I really don't know what happened to this team. They just completely fell off.
They weren't getting very good quarterback play. Matt Schaub, he
They
seemed
were
like
14-2 the season before.
Matt Schaub last year seemed like he was on record pace as far as throwing pick sixes. Pretty much every time he threw an interception, it got ran back for a touchdown. And then they lost Brian Cushing for the year, was that defensive leader. They just could not get things together, and that's a lot of the reason why Andre Johnson was so upset.
They went from 14-2 to 2-14.
First to worst. It happens.
From 14 wins to 2 wins.
Yeah.
Same team.
Not the same team.
Pretty much same team. 75% same team.
Okay.
And you lose 12 fewer games?
Yeah, I think the NFL caught up to Gary Kubiak. He was on the hot seat. I mean, even in that 14-2 season, he was on the hot seat.
The season before that, they were 11-5. So under Kubiak, they really didn't do that bad.
No, but he was kind of he was questioned week in and week out with decisions for the last few years, and it was only a matter of time before they actually let him go. And I guess it took a 2-14 season for them to actually pull the trigger on that.
Well, a 2-14 season will cost you your quarterback. Matt Schaub's out of there. Gary Kubiak's out of there. They also lost Ben Tate.
Yep.
Antonio Smith. T.J. Yates, if that mattered.
They lost him?
Yes, he's out of there.
Okay, so they're looking at.
They picked up first pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney, who
Right.
I think is going to make for a really good player.
He should.
Maybe starting off this year.
Yeah, by all accounts, he should be.
They also acquired who I hear maybe their starting quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's at the top of the depth chart right now.
Might be another 2-14 season for
It's
the
looking like
Houston
it.
Texans.
It's looking like it, especially if the Arian Foster just can't stay healthy. They've been running him into the ground for the past 3 years, and trading camp comes along, he already has a hamstring issue.
Their biggest question though is, will Andre play?
Yeah, I mean he showed up to camp. You expect him to play because he's one of the true professionals in this league, and you expect a guy like that to come in and play and contribute and work hard.
Bill O'Brien,
Yeah.
offensive coordinator. Wait a minute, was it offensive coordinator or quarterback coach in New England?
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator in New England.
Offensive coordinator in New England before moving on to take over at Penn State.
Right. Did a great job with that program, especially all it went through.
Definitely did an awesome job. He takes over the reins down in Houston, and it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's regarded as one of these quarterback whisperers, and that's that's why a lot of people thought it was a little strange that they didn't go quarterback with that first pick in the first round, and considering that they didn't have one, they bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hopefully he can work a little bit of that magic on him. He's a smart kid.
That's a term that I've been hearing a lot.
Quarterback whisperer?
Quarterback whisperer. Coaches being labeled quarterback whisperers.
Right.
Like the guy in this next team that we're going to talk about, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer.
Hopefully.
I wanted him in Detroit.
Because he has some young quarterbacks there.
He's had some pretty good quarterbacks in the past that, he's helped take to the next level. Let's talk about Tennessee. They finished second in the AFC last year, AFC South, with a 7-9 record.
Yeah.
They acquired Ken Wisenhunt, who we were just talking about, a quarterback whisperer.
So to speak. That's a guy I also wanted for the Browns.
They lost Chris Johnson.
They did?
Yep.
Whatever that means.
That's a 1,000 yards rusher. They lost Alturan Werner.
He was a real good young corner in this league.
He waited to the proper time to become a real good young corner in this league.
Yeah, he got paid.
Contract year. I don't like those type of players that I'm just going to play this year because it's a contract year.
Yeah, I mean...
Then I'm going to get paid and I'm going to move on. I don't like players that play.
From an entertainment standpoint, yeah, you don't like that too much, but it's, far be it from me to wag my finger at some guy who wants to make money. In whichever way he wants to do it. This is America.
The key to this team is going to be Jake Locker. Can he stay healthy?
He hasn't so far. This guy, me and Greg talk about him, how we just have this unwarranted confidence in him because he has the tools. He does. The kid's got a rocket arm. He's smart and he can move. He just can't stay healthy. When he's on the field, he plays pretty well more often than not.
Well, health is a big part of life.
That's true. It's really important. It's really important. And then they draft a guy who I thought personally was a first round talent in Zach Mettenberger, and he is coming off the ACL that he suffered at LSU. He seems like a perfect fit, especially if Jake Locker can't stay healthy and they have to end up cutting ties with him because he's kind of similar skill set wise to Jake Locker. He doesn't move as well, but he's got the arm. This kid can play, but he has injury questions as well.
Who's going to run the ball in Tennessee?
Well, they drafted Bishop Sankey. He was the first running back selected in the draft. He had a tremendous college career. A
lot of carries up there in Washington.
Yeah, that's for sure. They still have Sean Green there, whatever that means. He's pretty beat down, and then they bring in Dexter McCluster, who will probably fill like a.
At least they did something to bolster their offensive line.
Yeah,
Michael Orr and Taylor Lewan in the draft.
Right, the offensive line is vastly improved, which should help that running game with its inexperience.
Hopefully, it'll help Jake Locker since he needs to stay healthy.
Right.
I mean,
another thing about Tennessee is young receiver Justin Hunter. You're gonna want to look out for him this year. He's gonna impress some people.
All right, let's talk about those Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let's talk about them.
Okay, let's talk about it. No, I'm just. I was gonna say, moving right along. The Jaguars. Oh my God! It almost seemed at some point in time last year like they were gonna go 0-16.
It seemed like it. They looked really bad, but that team really got together there at the end of the year and played for Gus Bradley.
Third in the AFC South. 4-12. Not really saying much.
Nope.
They lost the homie Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yep, he's up there in Oakland.
They also lost Blaine Gabbert.
Yep.
Who was drafted the same year as Jake Locker.
Yeah. Much higher than Jake Locker,
I kind of thought they was like the same player. They were.
Yeah, I could see the comparison there. Definitely.
They drafted Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Bortles?
Blake Bortles, and they keep saying that there's no way he's playing this year. He probably won't. The kid's really raw. He's somewhat of a project, but he was worth a top 5 pick.
A top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. I heard a good source in the NFL say, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, you must play him.
I don't agree with that. That seems to be the running trend in the NFL these days.
If you're going to spend that high of a pick on a quarterback, he's supposed to be playing. Especially a top 5?
Yeah.
You took a top 5 as a project?
Yeah, I mean, a quarterback's a really important position. It's potentially the most important position in all of sports. So I don't think it's fair to draft a guy, especially a guy like Bortles, who doesn't have that much experience, to just throw him right in there, and then you can end up wasting that top pick if he becomes overwhelmed and it stunts his development.
I could understand a top 5 sitting behind a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Brett Favre. Mm-hmm. And this is no knock to my fellow Michigan Wolverine, Chad Henne.
Right.
But top 5 shouldn't be sitting behind Chad Henne.
But he's a bum, and Chad Henne, and it's not really just you don't really want to look. I mean,
he's the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Over a top 5 pick.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Yeah. I guess he could be in Canada. Troy Smith. Oh, we gotta take a break. Come back.
I'm not even
we're gonna
Ohio
talk
State
about
fan.
the
I don't
Colts
care.
Real quick. Finish off the AFC South, and then we're gonna get to the NFC South.
Sounds good.
You're watching the Sports Show. We'll be right back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Check out this chef, right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Welcome back to the Sports Show, where we're going to real quickly finish discussing the AFC South.
Real quick.
Indianapolis Colts.
Clearly the best team in this conference, in this division.
11-5 last year, first place in the AFC South. Lost in the AFC divisional round game to the Denver Broncos.
Yep. Another year for Andrew Luck, the best young quarterback in this league. Reggie Wayne apparently is just destroying it as far as rehab goes and looks great after his ACL injury. T.Y. Hilton.
As an insurance, they picked up Hakeem Nicks.
They still have T.Y. Hilton, then they bring in Hakeem Nicks. The defense allegedly is better. I'm going to have to believe that to see it. But
the key to this team is Trent Richardson. Will he be able to be an every down back?
He can be an every down back, and the only way that he becomes the key is if Pep Hamilton continues to stick with the run. They want to be a run-first offense. But they have to understand that the Indianapolis Colts looked the best to me last year when they put the ball in their best player's hand, that being Andrew Luck, and letting him sling it around and not really worrying about establishing the run. So we'll see if they allow that to happen a little bit.
Will them not having Robert Mathis for 4 games
That's definitely going to affect them for
cause
the 4
them
games.
problems?
Yep, it will. It will. You better believe that.
Trouble on the horizon. Because he is the reigning defensive player of the year? If I'm correct?
He had a whole bunch of sacks last year, and either way, the Colts are going to win this division. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, because I don't see Jacksonville doing too much. Tennessee, there's a lot of problems going on down there.
We just can't know. We can't know what they're going to be. We can't know what kind of teams they're going to be.
And Houston, is a mess.
Yeah, they're an anomaly.
Shouts out to the New York Giants, 17-13 Sunday night over the Bills.
Yeah. Andre Williams looked great.
NFC South, we got the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who else?
Who'd you say?
Carolina, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
I think we talked about the Saints a little bit last year.
Yeah.
This dude say he can play till he 45 years old, Mr. Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week, yeah.
You crazy? This is the NFL. You will get killed in the NFL after 45 years. I don't want to see Drew Brees as a backup. Tom Brady kind of mentioned that he might could play till he 45 years. I don't want to see y'all as a backup. And 45 years old, if you starting in the NFL, I don't care how great of a career you've had, what does that say about the talent that's coming in? This dude is 45 years old and he is still the starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're old, crafty veterans, so much of the quarterback position is played between the ears that you just have to wonder if the athleticism and skill set is going to be maintained.
Right.
Which, more often than not, it won't. And if they actually went out of there on the field at age 45, they'll probably get busted up.
The Saints. What can we say about the Saints?
The Saints, they're a real dark horse to win the Lombardi Trophy this year. They have to be. They still have Drew Brees. The second-year the second-year safety, Kenny Vaccaro, he's sensational and is going to spearhead that defense. In the backfield, they're going to continue with the three-headed monster. They lose Darren Sproles, but that opens up for Kerry Robinson to come in and play more. Pierre Thomas will probably fill more of that Sprolesian role on the offense, with Mark Ingram being the starter and getting early down work. But they also drafted a young guy who they're raving about in New Orleans out of North Carolina, Brandon Cooks. The kid has crazy speed. They're going to look to utilize him in a lot of ways. You're going to look for him to get see probably 70 to 80 catches, around 15 to 25 carries. They're going to get him, use him in that kind of role. Very, very, very versatile kid. Look for him to be a really, really, really shining star here with the Saints offense. And we didn't even talk about Jimmy Graham.
The Saints suck.
That's all you have to say, huh?
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
I ran it on that, and that's all you have to say.
The Saints. You get on my nerves. And I like they running back, Mark Ingram. They need to get him the ball more.
Maybe.
And Drew Brees needs to get that thing fixed on his face. It's scary looking. No, let me stop. The Saints is going to go as far as their defense carry them. I don't care how many points Drew Brees puts up. I don't care what they do with their running attack. If that defense is not up to par, every team in the NFL is designed to score points. Yeah. The teams that win is the team that stop the other team from scoring points.
Yeah.
And if you can't stop a team from scoring points, then you're just an exciting team.
Yeah.
And that's what the New Orleans Saints is to me. They're just an exciting team. They didn't even win a division last year.
Well, you look at that defense 2 years ago was the worst in the league. Last year, they were
Shouts out to Rob Ryan.
They were exceptionally better, yes, in a large part due to him.
They picked up Champ Bailey and Jarius Byrd, so that should help a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
We shall see.
Absolutely.
Champ Bailey is kind of long in the tooth.
Yeah, who knows about him.
Let's go to the divisional champions. Carolina Panthers, who have went through some more offseason changes, losing maybe one of their franchise all-time best players in Steven Smith.
Yeah.
But this is the third year for Cam Newton. This is his third?
Fourth year.
Yeah, this is his fourth year. You're right. This is his fourth year, and he's up for a contract. He's looking for big money, especially after seeing Andy Dalton sign for an extension of 6 years, up to $115 million.
That's outrageous.
Who is Andy? Oh, he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me leave that one alone.
Yeah, please.
They lost Steve Smith. They lost Ted Ginn.
Yep.
They picked up Jericho Cotry, Jason Avant, a couple of other people, a couple of other wide receivers. And the one guy that I really like that I think is going to help Cam Newton out a lot is the guy that they drafted from Florida State, Calvin Benjamin.
Yeah, Kelvin.
6'6".
Big boy.
Big target.
And he can move too. He can move. He was dealing with a little bit of a contusion there early in training camp. Shouldn't have any lingering effects when it comes to the regular season. Jericho Cotry and Avant, those are both guys that they're both nice possession guys that'll be good safety blankets for Cam, who's not going to have really too many other people to throw to. You still look at that team as a run-first team with the option with Cam. You look at Greg Olsen, he's going to catch probably close to 100 balls this year.
That's my thing with this team. That, like you said, is going to go as far as the running game carries them. Because the defense on this team is stout.
Yeah.
This is a top 5 defense.
They proved that last year.
And can these backs that's been there seem like forever regain the momentum from 3, 4, 5 years ago? And I just don't see that happening. So I really see too much of the weight being on Cam's shoulders. Yeah, even though he's supposed to be Superman and can carry the weight, we shall see.
But yeah, you can't imagine that those running backs are going to be anything more than they have always been. You'll get D'Angelo Williams. He's the guy they're going to use mostly in between the 20s. And then when they get in the red area, you're looking at Cam and then Mike Tolbert then taking over there. Right. And as far as Jonathan Stewart goes, who knows if he's even a real person.
Who? Yeah.
Exactly.
You're right. Jonathan Stewart. You got the Atlanta Falcons.
Looking to bounce back this year.
The Atlanta Falcons, to me, was like a team we spoke about earlier, the Houston Texans. Even though they didn't finish the season as bad as Houston did.
There's some similarities there, definitely, yeah.
This team just was like, we're on the verge of the Super Bowl. Now we're in the draft.
Right.
Hot top pick.
Yep. They were plagued by injuries last year. That's without question. And then you have a super leaky defense back there. That is a recipe for a disaster there.
And then you went and got dinosaur Steven Jackson.
Yeah, he actually ran pretty well, down the stretch there last year, but not nearly as well as they were expecting him to when they signed him.
Scary.
Yeah,
it's scary down there.
They went out and they drafted the kid Devontae Freeman from Florida State. Has shown in camp he has the ability to run between the tackles, and you look for Steven Jackson when he gets hurt, not if, when he gets hurt. You look for him to fill in, and then you get a healthy Julio Jones back. You have Roddy White still. You lose Tony Gonzalez. That's going to hurt a little bit, even though he wasn't the player he was last year. Or last year he wasn't the player he had been in the past. But the thing is, with all of these catalysts, they still have the one constant, and that's Matt Ryan, and he's a very, very good quarterback in this league, and that he should be able to right the ship.
They might be the biggest dark horse in the NFL this year.
They could be.
I mean,
they very well could
their
be.
division is stout, but just 2 years ago, they ran this division.
They were at top of the division.
So, I mean, but another thing about that division is that division has so much turnover. It's like every year there's a new divisional champ in the NFC South. So you can't count out the next team we're going to talk about, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We were talking about them last year as the dark horse to win that division.
And it kind of just fell apart.
It kind of did.
I mean, they went through the whole quarterback issue.
Josh Freeman, that
Cuckoo
guy.
Bird.
This guy.
Cuckoo guy. I just don't understand how you could, one day you're good, next day you're cuckoo. Take the meds, man. If the doctor say, here, take these once a day.
Yeah.
Gonna keep you cool.
Right.
Keep you making these millions.
That's right. And that's right.
It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. They got an awesome coach.
Yeah.
Awesome coach in Tampa Bay.
They bring Lovey down, yeah.
Who comes from the Tampa Bay system
He knows
when they were winners.
He knows that Tampa
Super Bowl teams. So, and he brings that. He's been in Chicago, took a team to the Super Bowl.
He did.
And I mean, they really didn't want to let Lovey go from Chicago. It's just kind of like he ran his course. So
yeah, right.
I mean,
that's what it was.
This was one of the better coaching pickups this offseason. He was a hot commodity.
I'd say so. He definitely was.
It's just gonna depend on what that defense look like. The quarterback situation, they figure they got it fixed with bringing
Josh McCown in
from Chicago.
Right.
He reminds me of Scott Mitchell back in the day. Had 4 or 5 good games in one season, and then moves on to a better team. Get the good money and get there and just be like,
who?
Yeah, Scott Mitchell, man. For all our older sports fans that remember Scott Mitchell, played for the Miami Dolphins.
Never heard of the guy.
Oh, see, that
defense.
That's sad.
That defense is good. They have young, fast players all over that defense. They get a healthy Doug Martin back. They still have
Doug Martin.
Yeah, they still have Vincent Jackson. They draft Mike Evans to help out. Josh McCown. Whether or not Josh McCown is going to be even close to what he was last year, filling in for Jay Cutler. They still have Mike Glennon. He wasn't Lovie Smith's regime's guy, so who knows how he fits in their plans. But they're definitely a team that you really can't say or know much about because there's so many variables with this team. We really have to just wait and see what they are.
Right. Which team is it? No, it was Atlanta. That's on Hard Knocks on HBO.
It actually airs tonight.
Starts, tonight. So y'all might want to check that out.
Maybe. Watch this first.
Yeah, we gotta get ready to get out of here though.
Yeah, we do.
That's all our time. We got all the teams. Who you got winning the NFC South?
I got New Orleans.
Didn't I tell him that team is whack? Whack. No. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Yep.
Pull it out in the South, and we both got Indianapolis in the AFC South.
Yep.
So next week we gonna go. We did the West last week, South.
Let's go North.
Let's go. No, we saving North for the last.
Oh, that's
man.
right. That's right. That's smart.
That's
yeah,
our division.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're gonna go to the East.
That's right. East Coast.
AFC and NFC East next week. I don't understand how Miami is in the AFC East instead of the AFC South when they're way at the bottom.
East. Well, why
Seems
are
like the Colts would be in the AFC.
Why
East.
are the Chicago Blackhawks in the West in hockey?
Blackhawks?
Yeah.
What is that?
The Chicago Blackhawks.
Have we ever talked? We gotta go, man. We'd have been wrapped up 20 minutes ago. Hey, look, this has been Ty House. That's the big homie.
Alex Squires.
And you've been watching the sports show. We out of here. Peace.